Oracle comes pre-delivered with a number of timecard layouts. We'll cover off 3 timecard layouts and then 2 methods for processing time using those layouts. The first timecard layout begins with input boxes for a start and a stop time. But if we just focus on the 2 columns, hours type and cost center, hours type is the label for the payroll element that you might be feeding. It could be an earnings element, an allowance, could be an informational element, and you can change the label here without impacting the actual design of the payroll elements in the payroll module. You can set eligibility rules. So if you're using the Oracle Payroll module, you'll be very familiar with element link functionality. The cost center drop-down box here you'll see is empty of values, and we won't touch on it very much today, except to say that there's a lot of scope within the OTL framework for actually customizing lists of values and adding fields to the timecard layout, but we'll save that for another day. So concept being, you enter an hours type and some costing, and then we'll move on to start and stop times. So you can see for each day of the week there's an input box for start, stop or hours. You pretty much will either enter start and stop time or hours. You can't put in both for the same day. The format is configurable. You'll see in this example we've got 4 digits representing a 24-hour clock. So simply just entering the start time and the finish time. There's no smarts behind this. If I put in 800 to 1600, the system is going to calculate 8 hours worked. And once I've done that, I can either save the timesheet or hit continue, and then that'll take me through to a review screen. So the review screen just shows the details of the timecard you've entered. If you had encountered any warning messages, they'd be displayed at the top of the screen here. But pretty much you just review the time you've entered. If it's incorrect and you need to change it, you hit back. If you're happy with what you've entered, you hit submit, and that fires off an approvals workflow. The confirmation screen just really shows you again confirmation of the hours or the start and stop times you've entered. There's a little bit of summary information in the total hours entered boxes. That's configurable, so you can sum those hours using other OTL configuration options. Again, won't be touching on those today, but they'll definitely be covered in other topics in the future. So yeah, the timesheet's been submitted and it's gone off for approval. So we move on to the exception timecard layout. The format's very much the same. The only thing that changes is the input boxes. So where we had start stop time hours before, that's now gone, and we just have an hours box. And pretty much you might use this in a site where you have an automatic payroll being processed, and you're just capturing exceptions to the standard hours. So that could be overtime, could be an allowance. Alternatively, you might be just trying to capture additional costing information. So regardless of whether you've set up an auto pay or not, you may want OTL to be capturing some costing outcomes instead. So here you just enter the number of hours worked each day. You might be selecting different hours types, time entry wages, overtime, meal allowance, and so on. The US exception timecard layout entry is has only got one difference from the normal exception timecard layout, and that's the need to capture a work location. And this is to manage, obviously, some US specific legislative requirements. Bear in mind you can still customize or add in additional columns as much as you need to, but Oracle pre-delivers a layout that captures the work location in the US. Exception timecard with OTLR. OTLR is short for Oracle Time and Labor Rules. And when you turn on, if you turn on Oracle Time and Labor Rules, you can start applying, I guess in OTL terminology, an explosion to the hours. So an example being you might be entering 14 hours for a particular day, and you might be wanting you might be setting up the rules to do an automated split of those hours into different types of overtime. So in the example you can see on screen, we're using the standard exception timecard layout, and we've entered 14 hours for each day of the week. As soon as we hit continue, we get taken to the exception review screen, but this time it's got a little bit more information. So the top part of the screen shows you the hours you've entered, and the bottom half of the screen then shows you an hours explosion. And in our case here, we've got 14 hours is translated to regular 8 hours, overtime 4 hours, and double time 2 hours. So there is some limited capability to do some automated calculations. So from the time entry perspective, you're still entering the hours worked. We're just allowing the system's calculation engine to then work through the breakdown. And when you send this information to payroll, it will actually send through the regular hours, the overtime hours, and the double time hours. Okay, the payroll timecard layout with OTLR switched on works exactly the same way as the exception timecard layout with the OTLR rules turned on, with the additional ability to have some calculations take place based on the times you're entering into the system. So same deal, you enter a start and a stop time, you hit continue, and then you get a breakdown of the hours explosion. And as I say, you can start to put in and build in some calculation rules based on the hours or the times that the employee is working. So again, that's just a summary of the payroll timecard layouts. We've excluded any integration with any of the other modules that OTL integrates with, and we'll certainly be covering that in future sessions. We'll also cover off some topics like approval rules, time categories, alternate name definitions. But again, hope that has been useful as an introduction, and we'll release some more videos soon.